guys, today I'm here with a highly requested video. These are going to be my top 5 foundations from the drugstore that are great for oily skin. As you know, I have crazy oily skin, and not just like, oh, I get oily throughout the day. It's like, no, this thing is a mess. It's an oil production factory, and I get really oily. So I have a whole series called Oily Skin Diaries, which I will link to down below. I have reviewed all of these foundations, worn them throughout the day, shown you what they look like with flash photography, talked about the price, the consistency, the shade range, all that kind of stuff. So I will link to it down below if you want more detail. As well, this is a collaboration with my good friend Caitlin from Caitlin Elizabeth Beauty. I met her when I moved here to Toronto. She's a part of Canadian beauty bloggers. She is the best, and we get along so well. We both have like this really great taste in music. We both love like a lot of like thug rap, old school stuff. We went to Nick's prom a few weeks back, and every time one of those songs came on, we were like looking at each other on the dance floor like, yes, we got this, and everyone else was like, what are you doing? Anyways, she has incredibly dry skin, so she's going to be doing her 5 favorite dry skin foundations, so I will link to her video down below. Also, what do you think about this lip situation? It is very light. I normally don't do this kind of thing, but I see other girls that are around my skin tone rocking like a really light lip with some lip liner. I don't know. I feel really weird about it, but I also kind of like it. This is an incredibly rambly intro. Let's get started. First up, let's throw it back to the first foundation that I ever came across, and I was like, oh, this doesn't slip off my face. I discovered this in like 2011 or 2012 when I was really starting to get into makeup. This is the CoverGirl 3-in-1 Outlast Stay Fabulous Foundation. It's amazing. I recommend this to friends, oily or dry. It seems to work for both. It also has a really good shade range. I'm pretty sure it gets pretty pale. And then also, if you're quite deep, the CoverGirl Queen line has released some even deeper shades than what this one has. That I believe is the same formula. So that, of course, is very important to me, having a nice shade range, but it comes with a pump. It's in a great glass bottle. It retails for about $12. It has really good coverage, great lasting power, it doesn't sink into your pores, and I just absolutely love this foundation. It has been a favorite for years, tried, true, tested, and as I mentioned, I will leave my review to this down below, but just keep in mind that was in like 2011 and 2012 when I was filming on my MacBook, so it's a bit of a mess. If you'd like a redo, I would be happy to do it. Also, kind of a throwback to my old channel, I reviewed the original formula of the Maybelline Fit Me foundation, and I looked like I had run a marathon by the end of the day. Like, it was still completely in place, nothing had really moved around, the pigmentation was still there, the coverage was still there, but I was like near dripping. It was horrible. It was so bad, but I recommend that foundation to anybody with dry skin when they ask me for recommendations because it is a great foundation, but it's just not great for me. Then they released the Matte and Poreless foundation, which I was so excited about. You'll see I have 2 here. I've got the shade 310 and 330. They have since released a 315, which I believe is in the middle of these. I'm an NC42 and MAC for reference, but I really love this. This is incredibly cheap, under $10. It doesn't have a pump, but you are saving a lot of money. A lot of drugstore foundations are getting quite expensive, so this definitely is one of the cheapest out there. It has amazing coverage, great lasting power, it is matte. It definitely, for me, anything I have to blot throughout the day, it's just the way it is with my skin. But I think this is an absolutely amazing option, and again, they have a lot of shades in here, from quite pale up to quite deep, and they keep extending the line, which I think is amazing, and this is a really, really good option. If you're wondering what I'm wearing today, it is the Maybelline Dream Velvet. This is their soft matte hydrating foundation. I reviewed this in December or January, and I absolutely love this. The only potential issue is this may break me out. And I have never really had an issue with makeup that breaks me out, but I noticed in January I had really, really bad acne, and I thought it was because it was the stress of like moving to Toronto, starting a new job, but it felt like when I stopped using this, the acne went away. So I use this again today, and I will use it again tomorrow. I will write in the description box if anything really kind of pops up on my face, but it is like, they call it Dream Velvet, and it is that. It feels like velvet. It is so soft. I applied this with my hands today. It glides on. It's got this great moussey texture, and I just think that this is fabulous. It feels so soft. It doesn't feel drying on your skin. They say it's hydrating, but by no means does that make it like a dewy foundation. I just absolutely love the texture of this. It feels great, and I really hope that it doesn't break me out because I love it. And I know a lot of other people love it too, so I don't think it's one of those really common ingredients that breaks people out, but it could be just some kind of anomaly with me. I'm not sure, but that being said, this is a fabulous foundation. From L'Oreal, their Pro Matte Foundation is an absolute favorite of mine. This is my second tube of this. I've gone through 2 or 3 bottles of that CoverGirl one. That's how much I love it. The only problem with this is the shade range is a little bit limited. I'll use my Body Shop shade adjusting drops with this generally to warm it up just slightly because it is very, very yellow. But this one says that it's a demi-matte finish with 24-hour wear, medium coverage, and it has an air-like texture. I would agree with most of this. I don't know about 24 hours, but you can take a look at my full demo and review down below if you're curious to see the application on my skin. I think you can definitely build this up to a medium to full coverage, not completely full, but you can get there with it. It is quite a matte foundation, so if you do have drier skin, they recently released a Pro Glow, but I've heard that's also not that glowy, so I kind of want to try it. I don't know. But I really like this. I love that it comes in a squeeze tube. All of these foundations are 1 full fluid ounce, which is good. That's kind of your standard size. This does get a little bit pricey. L'Oreal at the drugstore has always been a little bit more expensive, but I do really like it. I also love the Pro Matte powder that comes with it, and I love the setting spray as well. That's a part of the Infallible line, and this is totally great. Lastly, of course, I had to mention this. I reviewed this not long ago. It was in my June favorites. It is the CoverGirl Clean Matte BB. This is insane. I wore this in that kind of demo video. I wore it all that week. I've worn it all this month. And I filmed my June favorites a little bit like early in June because I was going to be traveling for work. I had family in town and I didn't get a chance to tell you about what I put this foundation through. I wore this to Niagara Falls in that like boat thing that takes you like up to the river or up through the river. The waterfall is coming down. You're wearing one of those silly ponchos. You're getting like sprayed in the face with water. It still looked great. I wore this when I was in North Carolina for work where it was like 40 degrees Celsius with the humidity, at least Fahrenheit. It was like 100 and something degrees. Like you walked outside and it hit you in the face. And this did amazing. I still had to blot, but like I didn't look patchy. I wore this for like 12 hours at a time. I am so impressed with this. I don't think it's a BB cream. I think it's just like kind of a lightweight foundation. It has good coverage, great lasting power. I think if you have dry skin, you could probably get away with these. If you have normal skin, like just don't use a powder. Same with dry. A lot of these aren't like completely matte drying on your skin. I haven't really come across any foundations like that. Maybe it's just because I have really oily skin. But I have seen a few people comment on my video saying that they do like this and they have dry skin. So I am really, really impressed with this. I did not think it was going to be as good as it is, but it is absolutely excellent. This is going to be like my ride or die throughout the summer. I'm just like, it blew me away. So thank you so much for watching. Those are my top 5 oily skin foundations from the drugstore. If you'd like to see a high-end one, let me know down below. And don't forget to check out Caitlin's video if you have drier skin. She will have some great recommendations for you. If you'd like to connect with me, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, or Snapchat at SamanthaJaneYT, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!